In a world where trust is hard to find, Solana ID brings you peace of mind. Your digital life secure and free, a place where privacy meets integrity. In a world where shadows used to reign, Solana ID brings clarity again. Your digital self in control, the privacy that you are on a roll. With Solana ID, you are in control. From the blockchain to the web, we know. No more secret, no more lies. With your soul ID, your reputation grows. Let's go once more. With Solana ID, from the blockchain to the web, we know. No more secret, no more lies. With your soul ID, if your reputation grow. In a world where trust is hard to find, Solana ID brings you peace of mind. Your digital life secure and free, a place where privacy meets integrity. In a world where shadows used to reign, Solana ID brings clarity again. Your digital self in control, the privacy that you are on a roll. With Solana ID, you are in control. From the blockchain to the web, we know. No more secret, no more lies. With your soul ID, your reputation grows. Let's go once more. With Solana ID, you are in control. From the blockchain to the web, we know. No more secret, no more lies. With your soul ID, if your reputation grows. In a world where trust is hard to find, Solana ID brings you peace of mind. Your digital life secure and free, a place where privacy meets integrity. In a world where shadows used to reign, Solana ID brings clarity again. Your digital self in control, the privacy that you are on a roll. With Solana ID, you are in control. From the blockchain to the web, we know. No more secret, no more lies. With your soul ID, your reputation grows. Let's go once more. With Solana ID, in control. From the blockchain to the web, we know. No more secret, no more lies. With your soul ID, if your reputation grow. In a world where trust is hard to find, Solana ID brings you peace of mind. Your digital life secure and free, a place where privacy meets integrity. In a world where shadows used to reign, Solana ID brings clarity again. Your digital self in control, the privacy that you are on a roll. With Solana ID, you are in control. From the blockchain to the web, we know. No more secret, no more lies. With your soul ID, your reputation grows. Let's go once more. With Solana ID, you are in control. From the blockchain to the web, we know. No more secret, no more lies. With your soul ID, if your reputation reputation grow.
And with that beautiful song, you know it is time to talk solid. Welcome to Solid Talk number 75, in the first Solid Talk of February 2026, with market being absolutely demolished. So welcome to the bear market. No, I'm done with labels. I'm gonna tell you today why, but I'm not gonna use bear and bull and all that shit anymore because it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter anyways. There's times when prices are low, there's times when prices are high. But one thing stays the same: Saturdays for Solid Talk and some other stuff. But yeah, we show up every Saturday here to reconvene together with the Solidian army and newcomers as well that join our live stream and talk a little bit about what's new in the markets, what's new in Solana, what's new with Solana ID, and also just some chit chat with me and my buddy Pierre. Welcome to Solid Talk. How are we doing? Do you hear me well? Is everything good? Because I'm in a different location. Quick mic check.
Yes, I hear you very well. What camera are you using?
I am using my iPhone.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe the lighting is not perfect.
Oh, yeah, probably it's not perfect because there's light behind me. You know, so there's light coming.
Yeah, I see.
Coming through.
What is this in the background? It looks like
I have no idea.
Super overdimensional
rubies.
The balls that you put on a Christmas tree, but just very big.
That's probably what it is. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's just glued to the wall. No, I'm actually. Yeah, where am I? Maybe we can, before we reveal this, let's do the weekly guess game. Everyone who's in here, take a guess where Simon is, because most of you probably don't know. There's actually, I haven't revealed it anywhere despite my Instagram story 2 minutes ago. So I think no one knows. Take a guess where Simon is. You can take a guess and we'll reveal later and in a moment. Until then, I want to say GM to everyone. First of all, if you're with us right now in the live stream, if you tuned into Solid Talk, then please feel free and drop a GM, drop a hello, drop a welcome, say hi to the chat and say hi to the two of us so we know that you're here. And we will give you a little shout out because we have Chills with us. GM Chills, thanks for coming every single week almost. Alden, same to you. GM guys who's still here, who sold and ran away. We're not running, my friend. JD Sol is with us as well. GM Solid Farm. Kat Lumpur was a movie. I wish you were all there. I want to hear your stories, JD. What happened? What was your highlight from Kat Lumpur in Kuala Lumpur? Obviously, Cyber with us as well. Welcome, Cyber. Thanks for showing up every single week with us. Leon C is here. Lisa Senior is here. We have Foodle in the house. GM's good markets soon. Yeah, sure. You make the world. Mal dir die Welt, wie sie dir gefällt. I don't know how to say it in English, but basically you make the world the way you want to see the world. GM, all Solidians, also from Czech Lenan. Maki says G Solid. GM Maki /trip. How's it going, my man? Giannis is with us as well. GM Solidian says Giannis, and the first wrong guess is in the house. Giannis, that was your shot. You're disqualified. That is definitely not true. This is also very far from true, Lisa Senor. That is a good guess because I was there, but it's been more than how long? When did I leave? Now it's February. Yeah, it's been like a month. It's been like a month-ish that I'm not in Australia anymore. So this is outdated info, Lisa Senor. I appreciate the try, the guess, but also you are disqualified. We need more guesses where Simon is at. So far, I can give you some more hints throughout the next minutes. One hint would be maybe to say that, I don't know if you can see this, but there is water next to me. There's big water next to me. Not super big, but big. That's another secret I can reveal. I'm taking more guesses. Where are you, Pierre?
I'm at home.
Oh, the man has a home now. That is good to know. So Pierre found his home, at least for now. You are in Manila in your apartment, and it is evening time, as it is.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, how are you feeling with what did you think when you saw that Solana is $80? You're like, okay, whatever. Did you just close the charts by now since a long time ago and you're like, fuck it, I'm not even looking anymore?
I actually didn't. When did I see it? Good question.
I don't.
I think I accidentally saw it because of the reply guy stuff that I was building, and then I was like,
okay. Yeah,
I hope that's not true. And I clicked on the post, and I was like, oh yeah, we're fucked.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to talk about it today, guys. I know everyone is a little bit worried. We all are, but we're gonna have some. I'm gonna share some thoughts. We're gonna look at the charts as well. Obviously, we're going to talk about every single week here. For everyone who's new, we're talking about Solana ID, but we're also talking about Solana. So obviously, we will share a little bit of thoughts on markets, and we're going to look at the chart as well. And we're also going to have some topics related to Solana ID protocol that we're going to cover today. We're also going to spend a few minutes to discuss
I actually wanted to test something. You see that?
Oh, yeah, I see the slide. So, welcome to Solid Talk number 75 again, everyone. Our weekly convention that we've been doing since 75 weeks now. And we come together here to basically just, have a set time every single week where you can find me and Pierre talking about markets, and we interact very responsively with the chat as well. So if you have questions, thoughts, funny comments, insults, whatever you want to leave there, put it in, and we're gonna react to it. Obviously, this is by now some sort of tradition, I would say. I think I'm curious, because we have a lot of people that really come every single week, and I'm curious kind of to hear how it blends into your Saturday, into your daily life. Like, what is this? What is Solid Talk for you guys? When you show up here, is it like, are you having breakfast now? Are you just going for a walk when there's Solid Talk? Are you usually at this time just scrolling through Twitter and you see, oh, we're live? Like, how does Solid Talk blend into your life, guys? I'm curious to understand. But what I really like about the format so far is that we really established a tradition, and I think we've proven by now that it's happening every single week. So you don't really have to doubt it. So if you want to join, you just have to be there every single week, and you can hear us yapping about markets, crypto, latest and greatest on Solana, at least a little bit. And then obviously latest and greatest at Solana ID, because that is what the whole thing started with. When we started our Solid Talks, it was all about, revealing what's in our minds, in our brains, what are the founders of Solana ID thinking about in these past days, in this last week, what keeps us awake at night, and what worries us, what excites us. So we just want to be as transparent as possible, not only on the company level, because it is some sort of very easygoing shareholder meeting as well, right? Like, everyone can join here and get latest updates from Solana ID, but it's more than that. It is also a place where the founders really just talk one-on-one with everyone who's here. So I think that is also that's also some part of the tradition. I feel like. So yeah, Noble is here as well. GM Noble. Saturdays are for Solid Talks. That is good to hear. Hector, GM as well. Jacqueline says 5 a.m. starts my day with coffee. Where's it 5 a.m.? Are you in the US? Are you actually listening to this at 5 a.m.? Where in the world at 5 a.m.? I don't even know where that is. Reveal yourself, Jacqueline. I don't know where. Are you actually listening to this at 5 a.m.? Leon C says if we are already in a bear market. Yeah, I'm gonna share some thoughts on this. Double espresso and Solid Talk. I just have a single here for me, but I also drank already a few in the morning, so this shall be one of my last ones for today. Jacqueline is in Canada. Oh, depending on where you are in Canada, it is actually fucking early, right? So for you, it's kind of the start of the day. Okay, that's cool. Well, good morning to you, and you're gonna have a great Saturday. This is a great start. Marky says, usually finished first training session for the day, so just vibing here, getting some breakfast in. That is actually perfect. I love that. That is a great time slot. It's a great time of the day, by the way. When it's morning, you come back from breakfast, you come back from training, and you're kind of ready for the day, and you're just getting your breakfast in, and you have to do something during eating anyways, right? Obviously, you could just sit there and eat. That would be the most rational thing to do, and enjoy the food and, pay attention to the food and live in the moment. But fuck that, who does that? I think usually we watch something or we talk to someone. If there's no one to talk to, then I think this is great. At least you have some company for your breakfast. So yeah, enjoy, Maki. And happy to see you here every single week. Lisa Senior says, for me, it's the beginning of the afternoon. That is the same for us. So this is, at least for me, this is the European time zone. So it's the beginning of the afternoon.
Go to bed time.
Actually, right before, right? That's the last thing you do usually.
Yeah,
almost.
Yes, yes. Now it fits better in my schedule because it doesn't end at late as before. So right now it's actually perfect.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I think why we changed it to the 1 p.m. UTC time. Earlier
it was because when you were in Australia, it was very late for us. Yeah, and I said, "Come on, let's do this guy a favor, so he doesn't have to be awake at 2 a.m. every night every Saturday night." Even though you were awake anyways, it didn't really matter at the end. But
yeah, I think your plan was to just get it moved to 1 p.m. under the excuse of doing me a favor. But now it's actually
exactly. Yes, you got me there.
Can admit it. So yeah, but interesting. Okay, no one guessed so far where I am. So let's see if we can figure it out during today's session. Otherwise, it stays a secret.
I am pretty sure that they will figure out very soon, because I think that we are going to start our usual chit chat and Found the Life updates. And I want to see. I've not checked the slides that we are using today, guys. So bear with me. I literally one-shotted them with Claude while the timer was running for the Solid Talk. So they are all AI generated.
All right. So
let's see what we have on the first slide for today. Intro chat.
The secret is on there. Okay, it has been revealed. The AI has favored you guys and revealed my location to you. Okay, so today we're starting with an intro chat, little chit chat. And we have a few topics that we want to just guide our conversation with. And obviously, we're revealing here that I was on my way to Turkey. I'm actually right now in Istanbul. I am Listen, so you guessed it, bro. You're the first one. But I think you already disqualified yourself earlier, no? So actually, it doesn't count. I am in Turkey. I am here actually on a secret mission to meet with some fellow friends to work on content, mainly.
Why is it secret?
And content strategy, because I haven't said it yet.
Okay. I thought it
makes it a secret.
It's a secret. Or are you going to some secret island? Wait, let me actually check if your name is on the file list. Simon Molly. You're lucky there. Your name is not on the list. Lucky you.
Bro, I'm approaching my 30s. That would have made me. I mean, I would have be able to do it, I guess, in my early 20s. But that's kind of crazy. Anyway,
going to the island?
Yeah, with my buddies. Going to the island with my buddies.
I mean, maybe you didn't went there as someone who's attending the parties, but someone who's forced to attend the parties. You know what happened?
All right.
Just making some tea. Sorry.
That's okay. So we do. I hear you, microwave. We do have a few things here that we want to touch on. So obviously, starting with the middle part here. I'm here not only to shoot content, but also to work on things related to Soul Brothers. As you all know, I work mainly on these two things currently, which is Solana ID and Soul Brothers. They are intertwined quite sharply, so there's a lot of overlaps between them. But I'm here with the Soul Brothers team, and we are going to cook up some content and some strategic decisions moving forward. We have some changes planned because we learned from what we did in the past, and we want to do it better. We want to ship more content, we want to reach more people, we want to grow more aggressively, and we ask ourselves how. And we're here to figure that out and to come up with a strategy moving forward for Soul Brothers as well.
Did you guys actually all plan to go there, or was it a coincidence that everyone was was close by, or did Eno actually go from Korea?
Yes, because Istanbul is a good airport to fly to because you have direct flights from everywhere. so you don't have to change, right? So that's why we choose it. For me, it's like a bus ride over here almost. That's how it feels like. The way from the airport to the city took me longer than the flight. So and that's because Istanbul just sucks. Like, you can't commute in here. Istanbul is great. Don't get me wrong. The traffic sucks. But yeah, we just chose a strategic location where it's the easiest for all of us to travel because we're coming from very different kind of angles. And Istanbul was good for that. So yeah, we just planned a little off-site here for a few days. Nothing really changes. I work as usual, but we just gonna put our heads together to figure out how we push serverless forward. And then what else here? Shall we talk talking points?
Yeah, let's introduce the topic, the overall topic again with I think like a little retrospective.
Yeah, that's right.
Something, you know what I mean. And I think it would be actually interesting to just talk a little bit about how everything in the startup scene changed since we two started together.
Yeah.
Like back then versus now, and then this transitions naturally into two topics that we can touch on today in the intro chat, which is basically same as last week. It's still heavily AI. The topic is still AI.
Yeah,
because it's everywhere, right? No matter where you go right now, AI is there. It was there before, then it died out a little bit, and now it's back up again.
Yeah, at least the mind share is there again, because we went from a concept to something much more tangible now in the past few weeks. And you need, on Solana, we always talk about use cases. We need use cases to make to proliferate through the noise and make normal people understand what Solana is about, because they don't get excited because of block space, right? They don't care about your transactions per second and the latency and on your blockchain. They don't care about if you're running proof of stake or proof of work. But what brings them to Solana is the use case. So that's why we're always so use case centric since ever in blockchain, right? Like on Solana, it's even less so because now it's naturally. That's actually very bullish for Solana. We don't need to push so much for this whole use case narrative, because Solana naturally pushes apps and products. But a lot of the other L1s and L2s and all that shit was a long time, even until today, in this concept stage of, okay, this is this experiment, and this is this infrastructure, this is technology, and now we need to bring it to life. We need use cases. So come here, build something, we throw money at you, we give you grants, bring it to life, bring people. And now what we see on Solana is the fat app thesis is coming to life, which means there needs to be at least one big app that is the core use case of a new technology. And that thing will attract so many users that makes it exponentially easier for other apps to use the same base, right, to build something on top of it and benefit from this fat app in the middle that attracted so many people, because they will cross over to the new apps as well. So we had this on Solana with things like Pump Fun and so on that brought in a lot of new people. This is not the space today to talk about if that was good or bad, by the way. But apps like Pump Fun brought a lot of attention and users to the ecosystem, and now we're kind of benefiting from that because all the other apps are catching users as well, and it made the technology understandable, because very tangible. AI is the same thing. Everything's the same thing, by the way, conceptually. AI also was early, pre-ChatGPT, a concept, and no one really gave a shit about that concept, despite this small bubble of early adopters that was working in AI. The people that worked in AI pre-GPT were like us, working in crypto. Until today, we're not quite there yet as AI, because we didn't speed up so fast as them as a vertical. But no one gave a shit about these early adopters, really, despite themselves, right? Until that mass adoption product came out, GPT. And that made it understandable for the public. Okay, what the fuck is AI? Oh, it's this chat interface I can talk to. It reasons, it thinks, it gives me useful output. Okay, now I can imagine what it is. I still don't give a shit how the LLM works. I don't even give a shit what an LLM is. I don't care really between the differences. And then all these apps built on top of it to make it more customer friendly. So there was kind of the GPT moment, right, that I referred to early on. And then it died off a little bit because we kind of reached the limit of what you can do with it. So we had a lot of these AI agencies implementing AI in companies and so on. And it was cool, but it didn't really, it didn't. I mean, it did change a lot already, right? But the full power of AI was still not yet tangible with the use case. And then came CloudBot, right? And CloudBot is this new thing again, this new fat app, right, in AI that makes it tangible what AI really is, a personal assistant. And now, if you look at xAI, right, so Grok, for example, and you look at their revenue projections and their kind of roadmap, I looked into this a little bit, and most of their revenue is being projected to come from the use case as a personal assistant. Not a, I mean, this, because personal assistant basically encompasses everything. There's so much potential in a personal assistant, and that's what CloudBot was, right, or is. It's a personal assistant that basically takes over parts of your life and automates them for you and helps you and supports you, right, and automates parts of your life so you can basically do the only thing that really matters in this life, which is being able to freely choose what to do with your time, because that's the most finite resource you have. Everything else comes and goes, but time only goes. It doesn't come. So it's the most finite resource you really have in this life. So any tool that helps you to free up time for things you enjoy doing while taking over things you don't enjoy doing is a huge, not only productivity, but lifestyle and well-being unlock, if you think about it, right? So that's why this personal assistant shit is so powerful if it's done well. And CloudBot was this clunky first, trial. I think now the big ones like Grok and X and so on will probably attack this sector as well, and will try to make mass appeal for this, right? But this is definitely one thing that significantly changed, that we now have this tangible use case in AI that goes beyond text to output, right? Because it literally takes over parts of your life. And we experienced this ourselves. Last week we talked a little bit about this. And me and Pierre are also dedicating more time than before in the past couple of weeks, again, to the topic, because as Pierre said in the beginning of this yapping here, you can't really close your eyes and pretend it's not there, right? AI is there, teams are using it, other teams are using it, and now it's up to you, right? Really, if you want to use it as well, or if you want to benefit from it. Does that check out?
Yeah, checks out. I think actually it's interesting that you started. That's good, because you had no idea why I put this topic in there. So you went into a different angle. I was actually thinking about something else, but that's good. That's why we're having this conversation. And I'm glad that I didn't start, but you started, because otherwise maybe you would have been biased on what I said. So now we got your angle on the whole topic. And my idea was actually to encourage everyone who's actually watching right now, who ever thought before in the past of building something or starting a company or having an idea and had no clue how to start. Because right now is actually time where there's no more excuses. If you have an idea, if you want to build something, if you want to start a company, if you want to start a startup, especially in Solana, it has never been easier. I don't know, Simon, have you seen the announcement from Solana? Probably, that they basically turned their whole documentation, dev documentation, into MD files. So you can literally just feed that into your agent, or you can send your agent there and let it read the whole Solana documentation to understand it and everything. So it has never been so easy to start a company with all that AI stuff. Nice. And now in the next Solid Talk, we will also have a new version of Simon, AI version that never gets disconnected from his Wi-Fi anymore. Let's give him a few seconds until he is back. Or maybe he's not coming back at all. Let's see. Let's see what happened this time. Or is it me? Am I disconnected? I don't think so. I think he's back.
Sorry, that was very weird. I actually, what is the correct domain of the MD files? Do you know that?
You just put .md after every documentation link.
Okay, that just crashed my entire Chrome. I'm happy nothing else happened, but all my windows just.
I just told everyone that in the future, to prevent this, because Cyber Brother is right, there is a tradition of you being rugged. There will just be an AI avatar of Simon. They won't even notice, but then at least we won't get rugged. I will feed him what he's going to say, and then we're good. What do you think about that?
I mean, one of the biggest, there's a lot of UX, not only UX, but functional blockers for people like us to use AI right now. And one of these functional blockers is scraping, like website scraping. Because it's actually not so easy to scrape a full website.
Yeah.
Like you can copy a link of a website into a model, and then the model will read the link. That, by the way, didn't work in the early GPT versions. Imagine that. But that works now. But if you want to, let's say, scrape a whole website with all the subpages, basically the whole content.
Wait. What are you talking about? You literally just skipped my question. You're gaslighting me here. I said, I'm going to replace you with an AI avatar that cannot get rugged with its internet connection. You didn't hear that? I just said that. And then you started on saying, you know what? You can feed your AI now complete websites.
Never arrived here, bro. It literally never
ignored what I asked you.
Did he say that, guys? Did he say that?
Yeah, I said that. I even said that when you were gone. But okay, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. I was just confused. Like that didn't make sense to what I asked you. But continue, please.
So website scraping, right? If you have
exactly, it's the AI avatar already. That's exactly what an AI would do. He would just drift away and start a different topic.
Yeah. So what I was thinking the other day, my Claude just started to talk about domains. Like he was like, I'm working with this thing since like 3 months or some shit, right? Like it has a lot of context. It has like files that are storing my memory and all that shit, right? Very sophisticated, like fairly sophisticated Claude desktop setup already, right? And I gave it the simple task, just please create a Claude MD file, which is kind of the brain of Claude Code. Please create a Claude MD file that just encompasses a good summary of everything about Solana ID, so I can feed it to Claude Code, and Claude Code knows exactly what you know. Not exactly, but the base context. And then this thing wrote me a Claude MD, and I read it, and I was like he was like, yeah, Solana ID is the primary domain service for the Solana ecosystem, similar to ENS on Ethereum. And I was like, bro, I've been working with you since. What the fuck did you do? And then he answered. He says, sorry, you used the other model. He's a little bit silly because I opened a new chat in Opus. And he was like, obviously, I know everything about Solana ID, and this is horrifically wrong. So please don't use this stupid model for tasks like this. Just ask me, because I'm the smarter one. So he was like shitting on his other model because the other model fucked up a lot.
But did you use Haiku or Sonnet?
No, Sonnet. I just used Sonnet because it was like my chats kept overfilling for some reason. Anyway, long story short, back to my initial topic. With these MD files now, if you have a website like Solana Docs that is basically MD filing or just making their web pages available as markups, you can easily give that to your Claude or whatever model you're using, and it will be able to single-handedly scrape the whole thing in 30 seconds probably, which saves a shitload of time. There's also some scraping tools already, some skills and all that shit, but it's a bit more sophisticated, so this makes it much easier. And it looks like for Pierre it's working, because for me, my browser.
I unfortunately cannot see my URL, but I'm literally just. Wait, let me check if I can actually do that so you can see my. Let's do it like this. I think now you can see it, right?
Yeah, no URL, no. But that's fine. Just tell us what you see.
Oh, you cannot? Ah, fuck. So you just have to type whatever link you're seeing in the Solana documentations. You just type .md at the end of the URL, and then it turns the website into an MD page.
I see. Okay, and then you can give it to, then you can give that link to the AI, or
yeah,
you can give the other link to the AI.
You can do this. I think there's even the post. You probably just send the first link. You just send the first link of the main documentation page, and then from there you can probably do whatever.
Okay, so because that is the unlock, really. Like if the tool or if the MD is going to be available to get to the whole documentation, every subpage, every single piece in one go. That would be that's the unlock I'm talking about. And the blocker that is still making AI development a little bit difficult sometimes, because you need the context a lot of times. And we're going to talk a lot about some more Solana ID related use cases, how we are leveraging this technology probably going forward further. We're right now running a few experiments, and I want to keep you guys updated on the process there. But yeah, we're not done with the initial topic, I think, with the initial chit chat. Is there more we want to pinpoint to? Because there was just, we haven't answered the question yet, the first one.
How the startup scene changed?
Yeah.
Now I would say yes. Partly we answered the question. It's just very easy now compared to back then.
Right.
Of course, you still need. There's some hurdles that stays the same. But imagine we would start Solana ID now with all we know compared to 3 years ago.
Well, that's pretty much the mindset we're in right now, ladies and gentlemen. We're rethinking a lot of our decisions, and we're kind of restarting. That's why 2026 is going to be a very interesting year for us as well, because we had so many learnings already. It's even better than starting back then with the tools we have today, because now we not only have the tools, we also have a full year of experience and networking on Solana with Solana ID. So put that together. So basically, back then, if we would have the same tools, cool. But we would still be much less experienced than we are today. Because today, we already went through a lot of learnings of running Solana ID for a year, networking with Solana folks, and launching first campaigns. And we have so much more traction, right, than the beginning of the journey, obviously. And that coupled with the enabler, which is the tech now, is actually very powerful. But here's the twist as well. The startup scene changed also for everyone. That means that the tools that we have at our hands are obviously also at the hands of everyone else. So the space gets more competitive as a whole. So we're going to see just a shitload of ideas, and projects, and apps, and all that stuff coming out now that wasn't able before to come out so quickly, if that makes sense. So you know what I mean? Like we're basically now enabling everyone with this emerging technology to do the same experiments than we do and improve their companies the way we do it as well, right? So it is a two-sided coin, right? Because you can't say that we have a strategic advantage now with the AI tools that we have in our hand, because other people will have the strategic advantage as well. So if you want to start something, yes, it is easier.
No, I'm not saying we have a strategic advantage, but there's literally it has never been so easy to start something.
Yes, for everyone.
Yes,
that is true. Yeah, that's what I'm. So the point I'm not saying this is wrong. I'm just saying that everyone is experiencing the same level of ease of use now to spin up apps, because I see a lot of my friends that haven't built products before now build their own fucking CRMs for Telegram and their own dashboards and their own whatever, because they can do it in one single day, right? So it would just, the space is just changing as a whole. But now, as always with technology and finance, it's easy to get left behind, right? And that's why it's good that you're here right now, listening to us, because if you immerse yourself with these topics, if you talk to other people that are in that same circle, you'll stay at the front, right? And then the next step is to soak in that information and learn, but also execute as fast as possible and just try things out. And that's pretty much what we've been doing. And that's also why Pierre has a lot of learnings from his days in the vibe coding space now, building stuff and trying out things. So you want to, should we double tap on this a little bit, or?
Yeah, sure.
We can also, obviously, as always, give a quick information here, a quick information that obviously, since every single week we get together here. Okay.
Wait.
Yeah, sorry, that was my.
There.
Yeah.
Just use the slides. Oh. It's not as pretty though. But again, it was one shot. I haven't even checked the slides before. I just know it's there.
Perfect. Okay, guys, I'm taking it back. But same thing. Comment yourself solid. That is the motto. We changed our giveaway style a few weeks back, and this time we're doing it. So you're used to this picture, but it's the same thing. You are now being able to just talk to us in the chat, and we're already watching. We're already watching since the beginning. The more active you are with us in the chat, the more you interact with us, with me and Pierre, the better, because we will crown a winner at the end of the live stream today, who commented him or herself solid by just being active. So all you have to do is be active, be constructive as well, and don't spam. And then it's gonna be me and Pierre who are making the shot, who has been the most solid commenter for today's live stream. So just a quick information here. And yes, Noble, it's not the Wi-Fi this time. My Wi-Fi is actually really good. I just wrecked my browser. It was my fault, but I didn't know what happened. And what else? Yarael of the South is also with us, GM. Also great. And man's got that priority pass. I know, Noble, you've been here since fucking eternity. I know. My coding updates, Pierre. Do you have any learnings you want to share with us?
There's a lot of learnings, yes.
Where do we start?
First of all, what is your opinion on Opus 4.6? Have you used it already?
So far, so good. It feels faster a little bit, I think. It thinks pretty fast. It seems to give me the same quality of output than Opus 4.5 in a much quicker time. If I now enable extended thinking together with Opus 4.6, it takes the same amount of time than Opus 4.5 before, but gives an even better output. So that's kind of how I feel. So they enable two things. They shipped Opus 4.6, which is a model upgrade, and then they also shipped extended thinking mode, which is just a little switch that you can toggle on. I think it's even auto switched on if you start a new chat, if you have a Claude subscription. And extended thinking will give the model the instruction to think deep. That is, by the way, also a prompt you can use in every single model. If you like, Claude gets triggered if you tell it to do a deep think about something. It will actually take more time to think, literally, and go have more back and forth. So, but now you don't have to say that word. You just toggle the extended thinking model on. So I feel like it's faster, and I think also the token usage has been improved slightly, so it's a bit cheaper potentially as well to work with it. And again, you can all the time have even better outputs as well if you use the extended thinking and 4.6. So my experience so far has been good. It's not world changing, obviously. It's a slight model upgrade. Opus 4.5 has been really, really good already before that, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I feel. I think for me, it's just a different name. They gave the baby. Right. I think the biggest upgrade, which is unfortunately not unlocked for everyone, including me. I think everyone in the normal subscription is not enabled yet. I used it for 5 minutes and then it stopped because I think Anthropic checked, oh shit, we didn't stop or put a stop on certain subscriptions. The 1 million token context, that's actually huge because it's 5 times more token context than Opus 4.5 had before. By default, it's still 200,000 tokens, but as soon as they enable it for all the plans, that's actually a huge upgrade.
What is that? What does it mean to have extended token usage?
So I think you only completely understand the how to say, the scheme of this once you start using Claude in your terminal, because you always see the token context that you're using and how many percent is left. If you just use Claude in web or the Claude app, you don't really see it. But at some point, every Claude session gets auto-compacted, right?
Okay.
If it reaches a certain point of length of the chat, it auto-compacts. And what it does, basically, it compacts the whole conversation into a summary and then starts a fresh session with that summary. And then the longer your conversation, the worse the memory gets, because it's only based on previous summaries. So if you have like already 10 summaries in that chat, it doesn't fully remember everything from the beginning, because it only has this token context window.
Right.
So every summary is 200,000 tokens. Then it gets summarized, new session, based on the old summary. But with the new model 4.6, but it's not enabled yet for everyone, the window of when the auto compaction happens is 5 times bigger. So instead of 200,000, it's 1 million tokens. And that's actually very nice, because what I've noticed is when I start a fresh session and I let my Claude read the context, the Claude MV, and he just reads basically his file to know, okay, we're building this right now. If you jump into a certain folder, he does that automatically. He always reads the Claude MV. He always knows some context. And then if you ask certain questions or work on certain topics, it reads more files. It uses up more context. And if you start a fresh session, it's always with the first prompt, you're not at 100%. You're at 75 or 76, because it had to read all the files already. So some token context always gets lost. Like 20% of the token context gets lost when you start a fresh session. So you never really start with 100, because he has to get some context already. But with that 1 million window, even after the first prompt, you're still at 95, 94% context window left, which is a huge difference. Because if you really build something over a whole day in the same Claude session in your terminal, you will literally see like 5-6 times that something gets summarized. And then at the end of the day, you feel he got more stupid. He got more stupid because some context got lost over the summaries.
Interesting. Okay.
So the best you can actually do is, when you start a fresh session and you work on something, maybe let it do 1-2 compacts, and then just make sure the docs get updated, then kill the session, start a new one. If you do that, you will get better output, because if you just do a huge ass session and let it auto compact 10 times, it just feels stupid over time. And he starts also hallucinating more. I had one point where he literally, like, two in the same session, but 2 compactions before, he gave me a recommendation for something, and then two compactions later, he said the complete opposite thing of what he wanted to do. So he fixed something, and then 2 hours later, he said, "Oh, we should actually do this." And then I said, "What do you mean 2 hours ago we actually fixed it?" Because you said it doesn't make sense anymore, and now you're saying let's do it again. And then he said, "Oh yeah, you're right. Doesn't actually make sense." So that's something you need to be aware of, the context window. I think that's the biggest upgrade, actually.
Okay, I'll look into it. I wasn't aware of this actually myself, and my Claude code seems to be not aware of it neither. He says, "I'm not confident in what the current maximum is, or whether there's a 1 million option available." So I don't know. I need to investigate a little bit. Maybe also I need to update my Claude code. I don't know. But yeah, that's definitely an upgrade. What you can also do is you can manually implement a system for yourself, how we did it as well. So the quickest thing you can do if you work with Claude Code as well is to tell it to come up with a session log system, where it basically logs sessions, right? I think this is also really useful to kind of add on the Claude MD. So you have a second file, or it's inside of the Claude MD. I think both would work, where you basically have a history of every single session. So every time you kill a session, it will update the session log as well with a status update of what we've done that whole session. So next time you pick up work again in the same folder, the model knows exactly what happened in the past few sessions. So that's another thing you can do to improve it.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then agent teams. Sorry, I forgot about that. agent teams.
Right.
Is actually very nice, because before you could spin up sub agents.
Yeah.
You could manually trigger it. You could say, okay, this is a huge ass task, use some sub agents for that. But now you can actually build your own agents, give them different skill prompts. For example, you can have in one project, you can have a front end agent, you can have a back end agent, you can have a document agent, you can have a debug agent, and you can give them all different prompts. And before, he would just spin up different sub agents, give them a prompt to do whatever. Usually he used Sonnet before, but now you can actually use team agents, and he spins up completely new sessions, all with the latest model, with their own token context. And then you see actually labels. Okay, this is done by front end agent, and he has the the front end skill enabled and stuff like this. So team agents is actually a big upgrade also. I used it one time yesterday just to check it out, and it's very powerful, but it's still experimental. So yeah, need to be careful with that. But I would say the main models mostly the same for me. I don't feel like a huge upgrade.
Yeah, I think a bigger one might come next month or something, when they build when there might be a whole new model coming out as well. Let's move on to the next part of the talk here, and maybe go back a little bit to markets and prices, shall we? Since this is one,
yes,
since this is one important thing to talk about here. So it is not over, ladies and gents. To answer the first question, are we in the crypto winter? If you want to call it that, sure, go ahead. In my words, we're just in a market environment right now that triggers prices to be lower than they could be. So we always, markets go up, markets go down, right? It is very natural. If you zoom out, and that's what we're going to do now, if you zoom out, you will actually see that the playbook is playing, like nothing has changed. So, and I'm the best example of this. If I would be an AI and very rational, I think I could have traded the markets also very efficiently, because I would have stuck to my wave counts and my TA in the long window. But as a human, you zoom in naturally. You have to, right? When you open trades and so on, you would zoom in. And as soon as you zoom in, it gets very volatile, especially crypto assets, and you get stopped out and trades close, trades open. But if you trade with a lower leverage and a higher position size, and you just follow the main thesis, which I've been talking about since probably almost half a year now, that main thesis is playing out really well. And without further ado, let me share my screen as well and show you pretty much what I'm talking about here. We're looking at Solana right now, okay? So we're looking at the Solana chart. We're looking at the daily chart here on the Solana. And obviously right now, Solana is trading fairly low at $86 here. But if I zoom out, even in the weekly chart, and I just look at, I haven't changed anything on this chart really. And you can take my word, or you can look back live streams to whenever I shared the long-term chart, even 5 months ago or something. This long-term chart, sometimes I pull it up. It has been looking like this since ever. And my main thesis here, this is literally, since the beginning of Solana. My main thesis is that we're in a macro wave 3 right now, which is basically has been starting with the low that we saw at the 2022 FTX crash, right? So since then, we're going in this kind of sideways movement here. And since it's a logarithmic chart, also the wave counts here look a little bit compacted, right? It's not so volatile as the logarithmic chart, which for crypto, it's really nice, especially if you look at long-term outlooks here. Otherwise, you have like huge bounces and so on. So we're in this third wave here, and that third wave has a sub count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this fourth wave here has been the wave that I've been watching since almost a year now, because we started the wave 4 count with the high that was exactly 1 year ago, because January 2025 has been much better than January 2026, because we had actually printed a new all-time high of Solana at $294, closely closing above the 2021 high. So that wave, that third wave, in my opinion, is completed. It's a sub count of the larger 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And that third wave here is now going down. And obviously we're in the fourth wave, and fourth waves can be kind of quite extensive. They can stretch over time or price. And this fourth wave here stretches right now over time, really, but also over price, because we're also going into the last kind of resort levels here. If you take the FIB levels, we're right now, we basically touched the 0.5 almost FIB level, which is probably the most meaningful resistance, honestly, for wave 4, for any wave 4 wave, if you're following Elliott wave series. And that has been playing out, really. And for like the fourth wave in an upwards movement is usually consists of 3 subwaves and corrective wave pattern, which is an ABC. And that means one pullback, then an attempt to break out to the upside. This can also overshoot. That happened last year in September. It didn't overshoot, but it did definitely, it's a proper V wave, almost attempting to reach the same levels as we had in the third wave top here. But then the C wave is usually a capitulation move to the downside that unfolds in a 5-wave move. So that C wave now goes in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last year, November, December, I was not sure at all, and I couldn't have known it, if the fourth wave is going to stretch higher. Again, fourth waves can stretch over time. So what could have happened is that this fourth wave goes much higher as well, to $150, $180, even $200 would be feasible, and then we could have seen a dump down. That was a scenario that I was not favoring from a prediction point of view, from probability point of view, but also personally, I haven't favored the scenario, because the longer this fourth wave would have stretched, the longer the whole kind of bear market feeling would extend itself, because we need that final capitulation in the fifth wave here to go up again. So now we're actually at a point where we're getting very close to a potential bottom. Yes, I said it. According to Elliott waves, according to what has been working in the long time view for me really well, we right now reached the C wave target. We reached the fifth wave target of the subwave here, of the C wave. And with that, the fourth wave could be completed. Can we go lower? Sure. We can even stretch until probably $60, $50, $40, right? This fourth wave can extend further. It can be brutal as well if the market wants to. And this now depends on fundamental and macro overview here, or market overview. So if we have more chewing glass in front of us, then this will stretch a bit longer. But again, technically, this checks out, right? And now in the macro count here, or the micro count, when we look at the current waves, this was a really strong oversold territory here, because we've been already going down since a while with no single kind of recovery rally. And then the price reached $77. And from there, did one final flush, taking out all the liquidity of people that went long already here to kind of close $67, right? Fairly low. And since then, we're now attempting to move upwards. Can we see another flush? Yes, we can definitely see one more downside movement. This could be a fourth wave here as well in the micro counts, and we could see one more low coming. But again, technically, just based on the market psychology here and the territory, we are still fairly oversold. If you look at the RSI, which is an indicator for oversold territory, we reached exactly the 30 RSI level, which signals oversold territory. And if you look at the long-term chart, Solana actually never in his whole history crossed the 30 line, right? Even when we hit $8 after FTX, the RSI, so the Solana being oversold, stopped at 30. And now again, I think RSI is actually a great indicator on the weekly chart. In the 15-minute chart, it gets very, it doesn't really give a lot of signal. But here in this chart, this looks actually really good. So in an ideal scenario, that would be probably best actually. We now see the daily RSI recover a little bit, and then we could technically print one more low here, around maybe $62 or something, with a higher RSI on the daily. So without tapping into this 19 level on the daily. So then we have a divergence. Then we have a higher price, a lower price, one more lower price, and a higher RSI, which would be an playbook, an ideal textbook reversal signal that we can go higher. Again, we can also go higher right now. Technically, we can also buy. So that's kind of my fairly detailed analysis right now of the market. One last warning call here for everyone that gets bullish when I talk about the oversold territory here and all the fear in the market and so on. Those are very bullish signs, by the way. But one last kind of little warning. We haven't touched the 300-day exponential moving average here on the Bitcoin chart yet, and that is technically the last line of resistance that Bitcoin normally touches after breaking to the exponential moving averages 100-week and 200-week, which we both broke. So that would be one more target for Bitcoin. That would mean Bitcoin could reach sub 60K, between 55 and 60. Obviously, it's a moving average, so it always changes based on the price. The longer we stay up here, the higher it will go. But yeah, also on Bitcoin, we completed the wave count. But again, we could see one more flash. Tapping on that resistance, that would be my final signal. But again, we're already in a territory where we can turn around. Now it just depends on how the markets react and if the world is ready for a reversal, basically. So as all you guys know, if you feel bearish, come to Solid Talk, because this is usually where we'll clarify what's happening a little bit, zoom out, and give you guys the chance to see the light. Oh, it's on. Do you see the light yet, Pierre?
I see the light. Wanted to know what you think about the Sol slide. Is that actually a good overview and summary about what you just said, or no?
Probably we could have. It depends on what you feed the AI. I think what you fed it.
I didn't do anything. You know what I did? I gave him our logo, and I gave him the logo of the Solid Talk, and I gave him the background template slide. I exported the Notion page as a markdown file that contains the agenda. I said, do whatever you want. Just build me some slides for Solid Talk. Really, it was like in a minute, and that's what came up. I think it's not that bad.
The markup file you gave, the Notion page, already contained a rough agenda, right? It was not just a blank template.
No, it was just it was the topics that we already had and stuff. So it took that and turned it into slides.
You didn't put any bullet points on that agenda, like
about no. There was bullet points on the agenda. Basically, the Notion page you see right now, I gave it to Claude.
Okay, and said, because that explains what's on the slide. That's why I'm saying if on that Notion page I would have put maybe a little bit more detail when it comes to price analysis, then the slide would be perfect. Because right now it just did the best it could, really. But yeah, no, slides are great. I think it's working. Ladies and gents, this is a live experiment. We're trying to automate the Solid Talk agenda and slide creation here. And I think, let us know in the comments, but I think it's a very good first attempt because the slides actually look nice. Like, at least the design is great, and it is factually true, but not 100%, because we went to $67 on the Solana, so not just 80 to 90. That's why I say the input could be better, or the AI gets its own.
Says 67 to 70 on the left side.
Risk.
That's the lowest. Huh?
Yeah, the lowest since 2030. But testing support near $80, $90. Okay, it's like currently right now we are testing support around that area. I'm just saying we did reach very low prices. Bearish technicals across the board. Of course, there are bearish technicals, but when technicals are bearish, this is usually the opportunity to buy. That's the conclusion here. And then the other conclusion that the slide also gives us is that builders keep building, and Solana is probably the most resilient ecosystem out there. There have been some Ethereum news as well coming out over the past days, because Vitalik has been quite vocal about his failures, and he's been basically, revealing some errors he personally made as well with Ethereum from the whole layer 2 centric roadmap and all that bullshit that never really worked out. And he said that is all Quatsch in German, so it's all it doesn't really work. And that, I think, was also a bearish signal for Ethereum. It's not over with Ethereum. Again, I haven't fully given up on Ethereum as well, but I would probably not right now build on it or do anything with it. It's just there. Solana, on the other side, it is actually really active. The thesis is playing out. We do attract a lot of liquidity across the board, from institutions to builders to vibe coding apps to agents. Everything is happening on Solana. And that's why I never feel a bear market to that extent, because my friends are all just doing their thing. They don't really stop, right? Like we just keep working, right? As long as the money's there. So that is the only thing we have to figure out as an industry and individuals in this market navigating to keep the liquidity here or get new liquidity here. Yarael asked earlier, so you think we'll have a chance for fewer entries? Yeah, a chance for fewer entries, sure, but I don't know. I have no idea. There's a chance. There's always a chance because markets are always based on probabilities. Is there a probability you get lower chance? You get lower entries? Yes. Do I have the exact number of that probability? Absolutely not. Do we have to see lower prices? Absolutely not. Again, some of the people I also look at when it comes to spot positions, they started to buy around Bitcoin 70K, Bitcoin 67K. So weights are accumulating now, capital is rotating. I think the early Bitcoin OGs, they took their profits now, the ones that invested very early. That's why the price also went down, by the way. That's one of the reasons, because early investors are just taking profits, right? They're just repositioning themselves, taking some chips off the table, seeking a more safe environment. And from here, at some point, we're going to go up again. So I think if you have a spot portfolio and you're accumulating, then now it's the time for DCA, right? Just like pile into it slowly, because we are already, every single week right now, we could turn around. That's kind of my thesis. That doesn't mean we can't see lower prices, but every single week right now, the chance is higher than 50% that we turn around. It's kind of the TLDR of that question. Cool. Next.
What's next? Next is company updates.
Cool. Alrighty. So, beautiful. What's happening? Let's address the elephant in the room, because it is a bit more quiet than usual if you judge only by Twitter exposure, right? Our Twitter is a bit more quiet as usual. And that's because we entered the year with the mindset of repositioning, taking time to, before we sent the troops, before we attack, we wanted to, pull back in our little tents before a big battle, where you strategize, where you look at the board, where you move some pieces around, and where you decide on your next moves. And that's literally the phase we're in right now. And if you attend every single Solid Talk, you kind of get that feeling anyways, because me and Pierre are talking about this a lot, about reconsidering choices, taking the learnings from last year, putting them to work, right? So we already did some structural upgrades that we're testing when it comes to our business and how we run Solana ID and what our focus should be. We haven't moved away from the North Star of being the most capital efficient way to acquire users. We want to be a customer acquisition engine. We want to help apps that are building great software to find users with budget optimization, right? With better ways to track. And we have been doing this since ever, right? This is the North Star that we're following. How we get there is changing a little bit. How we run campaigns is changing a little bit. Launching less per campaigns than usual is one of the outcomes of that. It's one of the effects, right, this new strategy has, because instead of doing a lot of small, less impactful campaigns, we're trying to do large campaigns that take much more time to push forward. And that brings us also to the bullet point that's on the bottom of the slide here. We've been tinkering on a campaign for software now since quite some time. We're still in our normal setup, company setup, where we do have human deving, and we love them, and they're great, but they're also slower than agents. And the software campaign is taking some time to get ready, because it requires a few features. It requires a dedicated landing page. There was design work to be done, and so on. We do want to help software to acquire users for their software card. We do feel like the non-custodial card that software is shipping has a lot of benefits. It is a great product, and it deserves users. And we're trying to answer the questions for them, almost as a performance marketing department add-on that they are plugging into their business for a few weeks. We're coming in and we want to help them to get more signups for that card. That is what the campaign is focused on. The good news for consumers is whenever we run these campaigns, we think about lead magnets and benefits, i.e. perks, right? So all these campaigns, they always come with perks. Either those are protocol and product-specific perks, the things you already know from the Solana ID Hub, or they are more agnostic perks like your tickets to a raffle campaign where you can just win hard cash, right? So the Solved campaign is going a little bit more in that direction, where you have the chance to win cash just from signing up to a product. And that's a flow that we want to test more frequently going forward, because it's a very general approach that works with every single app. Basically, you're giving users the chance to win money for signing up. So it's better for you to sign up through Solana ID than without us, because if you sign up without us, you don't have the chance to win anything additional. So that's kind of the pitch a little bit as an additional lead magnet. So yes, the status of that is final touch-ups in the making. The page basically stands, the landing page. Strategy baking means we're still tinkering on growth tactics, how we can expand the pie and also add a value proposition to the whole Solana ID product, to the B2B product that goes beyond wallet targeting, and also adds the service of how do I acquire users outside of Twitter. We do have some knowledge and expertise in the area of marketing on TikTok, Instagram, and alternative socials. And we want to use the full force of marketing tools we have, especially nowadays, to get exposure on such a landing page, to have higher traffic, higher impressions, which then will translate in higher conversion numbers if they run through our funnel. So that's kind of the TLDR. Anything to add on that, on the software status and the products there? I think that sounds good for you.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. Then second, I'm kind of going from the bottom up right now, but that's just just happened. New infrastructure. That's basically why we talked about AI last week with you guys. That's why we talked about AI this week with you as well in the Solid Talk, because it's just a topic that we're spending significant time on right now. As you know, every single Solid Talk, we're talking about what are we doing, what keeps us up at night. Right now, this is what keeps us up at night. How can we improve our company setup into a mode where we can ship much faster? So yes, maybe now it's quiet, but it's a quiet before the storm, because we're in our little tent strategizing and building the setup for a much faster turnover rate once we enable it. And I don't know how much we wanna double tap on that topic, Pierre, but I can explain a little bit on my what I've been doing, what I've been tinkering on last week when it comes to our agentic dev team. I can share a little bit of details.
Yeah, let's run us through it. I think it's very interesting.
Okay. Let's start before I share screens. So the idea is basically to have, because the tools are there, the idea is to have a setup where we can control our own team of non-humans, i.e. agents, that is shipping product updates, features in the app, right? New landing pages, new designs, new badges in the hub, new additions to the Solid score, all issues that are normally part of a pipeline towards your dev team. Historically, that's how you run a company in tech. You have your Jira board or your Notion or whatever you're using for task management and process management, and you design features based on what you think makes sense for your users. You put these features with product specs into tasks. The devs read these product specs. They get an idea of what you're trying to build. They will come up with the implementation plan. How do you get that spec implemented technically? They will write a spec plan for that as well. And then they would start tinkering. That process can take weeks or months, right, of implementation work. Why? Because we're humans. We have to sleep, we have to eat, we have to shit, we have to maybe also do some leisure time. So we're just super inefficient workers. It is what it is. Some are more efficient than others, but we are humans. We are never linear. An agent is very linear, very predictable, never eats, shits, or sleeps. It can technically work 24/7. I hope it stays that way. I don't want them to become as human as us, so that they need time to rest. So the idea is to replace some of our resources with agents. That is bearish for devs. We are very aware of that, but it's just where the market is moving. It is what it is. And for us as a company, it has two major benefits, which is it is a hell lot of cheaper to work with agents because they don't cost 10K per month. They cost 1K per month with a very sophisticated setup. And it is much quicker as well, because as I said earlier, you can give a task and it will just do it. Now we ask ourselves the question, okay, how can we do this in the best setup, right? How can we do a proper setup where we have less hallucination, where our agents know exactly what's going on, where multiple agents can work alongside each other in a very sophisticated setup with all kind of tools they need to make it good work and, you know, do debugging and make sure that they don't do anything stupid. That setup is quite difficult to build. It's much more than just opening your Claude desktop and starting to vibe code. It's much more than even opening just your Claude code and starting to vibe code with that. If you really want to build a strong baseline here. So what I've been doing is I've been starting to use an open source package of agent tools. And if you're interested in what we're doing, Pierre, you can feel free to show my screen here, and I'll just tell you guys what I'm using, what I've been starting to set up, and I'll show you as an example of my little cockpit that I built for myself to use that system. I'll also explain you how that works in real life. So the agent flywheel, the idea itself is very straightforward. They've been summarizing it here better than I could do it myself. It is 15 core tools. So it's actually in total is 22 tools that are already there. They're in a GitHub. They're already thought through. They're already developed. It's like you can imagine they're like skills, in other words, 22 core tools or skills that transform multi-agent AI coding workflows. Each tool makes the others more powerful. So the more you use it, the faster it spins. While others argue about agentic coding, we're just over here building as fast as we can. It is literally a flywheel, because the more you use it, again, the stronger it gets. It has a very sophisticated memory system where it can browse through its own history. It has dependencies that it communicates with each other in terms of tasks logs and something called agent mail, where each agent can talk to each other. And this creates a very powerful agent tool stack, basically. We won't go into the details here, but agentflywheel.com/TLDR, you can get the gist of it. Again, this is completely free and open source to use. All you need is a stack of coding agents for you, basically models, subscriptions, that you need to plug in here. So you can plug in as many agents as you want. You can have one Claude Max subscription, 2 or 3. You can have one Codex additional to it, 1 or 2 or 3. You can plug in Gemini. You can plug in whatever tool you want, really. And they will talk to each other. They all have their own identity, and they'll all work alongside each other. So that's what it is. It is quite, it's not trivial to set it up. It requires a little bit of dev work to set it up. You do need a remote server location, a VPS, because this thing is going to be online all the time. So you can run it on your own Mac. You need to be proficient in terminal kind of navigation and kind of Linux basics when it comes to opening folders and all that shit in the terminal. Or if you're not proficient in this because you have never studied it and you don't have the time to learn the languages, well, then you just build yourself a navigator, an operator of the flywheel that is an agent himself. And that's what I did. So basically, what I've set up is the flywheel. So that is now a group of agents with more than 20 core tools, basically skills. They're like packed. They're packed with muscles. They can do shit. They're set up on a VPS. They're online all the time. And I have to instruct them. Since I don't want to instruct them with code and with commands, because it takes a lot of my time to learn that, I will instruct them with my own Claude Code instance. And that Claude Code instance is what I call the operator. So this guy is going to operate the flywheel for me. So he has direct access to the VPS. It's basically a Claude Code agent that is controlling that machine, the VPS, that computer, right? So he's controlling that computer directly. He has a direct channel into that computer. Whatever I tell him to do, whatever specs I give him, whatever ideas I can come up with, he will be able to build that, or he's not building himself, he'll be able to instruct the agents in the flywheel to build it, basically. And then since the flywheel is not just a set of agents working alongside each other, they're also connected to your GitHub, to your front-end hosting service, to your back-end hosting service. They have all your variables. They're ready to go. They have all the tools they need, like a human developer, to actually build shit from 0 to 100. So I built myself a little dashboard This is not part of the Agent Flywheel tool. This is something I came up myself with that idea, because I want to have some sort of control center. Right now it's fairly empty because I haven't, like I just set this up, I haven't used the agents yet to build shit for Solana ID. So what I'll be able to see is I'll be able to see the system kind of usage. So because that is my machine that I'm running, the VPS, and it will be heavily loaded if there's a lot of agents using it. I'll see the open sessions, which is basically all my agents that have their own processes running. So if I have 3, 4, 5 agents that all have their own processes running, they will pop up here. And I'll have the Git activity. So I'll see exactly, okay, what kind of GitHub changes to backend and frontend have been pushed already in there, what have been, what are not committed yet, what is still out there. So I can check that as well. I have a task board called Beats. So I'll see, okay, what are these agents actually working on? So they'll have their tasks defined here based on what instructions I gave them. I have a glance on the errors that are there. Agent mail right now I don't have direct access to. I'll have to set that up still. So this will remain empty for now. But the idea is also to be able to listen to them talking to each other, if that makes sense. And then you have a timeline, which is like super, it updates every 5 seconds, basically. Again, now it's fairly old because I haven't instructed the agents to do anything yet. But once I do that, I will be able to see in real time what they're doing. I can just observe this, and it will basically just ping things every couple of seconds, probably, depending on how active the agents are while I'm in the dashboard. So again, why am I showing this to you guys? Because we are at Solid Talk, and we want you to understand what's going on, right? And what are we doing, especially when it's quiet on Twitter. And what we're doing right now is setting us up for better success. And that's part of it. I think it's a very powerful tool to set up properly. You can save a shitload of money if this actually works really well. You can ship things extremely fast if this works really well. And you have a huge edge over competitors and the overall market. And that's where I want to arrive. That's the point where I want to get to. So this is just a quick update on the kind of more of the core business piece here that I wanted to touch on. Any questions, remarks, concerns here? I see in the section, no big questions. Just Maki said, some tool, damn efficiency about to be up. That's true, Maki. Right here.
I am very curious about how it works, since you're the one who is actually doing the implementation and everything. At some point, I just want to see it doing something. That's what I'm most what I'm looking forward to right now. I understand the concept fairly well, I would say. It is basically to understand it easily for everyone. It's basically if you would have an army of your Claude bots or OpenClaws, and they all work together.
Yeah. And they have one orchestrator kind of thing. Because I set it up in a way as well that, like the agents that are doing the work, the execution, that are living on the second machine, they'll have their own memory system, right? But my orchestrator can read that system, so he always knows what they know, kind of thing, if he wants to read it. But he also has his own session logs. So if I work through specs with him and so on, like he literally is only the link between the human and my agent army. That's what the operator is. He's just the link between me and the agent army, and he translates my specs and my ideas into instructions for the agents. Because again, you can also run the agent army yourself, but for this you do have to study a little bit how to do that properly. And when I was working myself through the tutorial, which is the 30 kind of sub-page long tutorial, it actually takes some time to work through it, even for one time. And after one time, there's no chance you know everything that's in there. It's like learning, for an exam, you'll have to go in again, you'll have to make notes, you'll have to write down the comments, you have to make yourself a little comment vocabulary book where you, command, where you learn all the comments for the Agent Flywheel terminal. It has some Linux basic commands, but it also has some Flywheel specific commands that are based on those packages, the tools that are installed. So even a dev that already is very proficient with Linux will have to learn how to properly instruct the Flywheel. And I was like, this costs a lot of time for me. I don't want to, it's not really part of my job. That's not why I'm setting this up. So the reason why I'm setting this up is because I want to be the guy that just instructs. But then I thought, okay, this this whole lesson book, which is like a huge ass document, is something that my Claude Code can learn within 30 seconds, while I need probably 1 week. So I just created a huge MD file with, it's actually pretty huge. I had to tell Claude like 4 times to make it more extensive because he kept talking to me like, oh, it costs a lot of tokens. I was like, yeah, just do it. So he did the whole thing, and he basically used the whole pages of that agent playbook of the lessons and created a flywheel instruction file. And my Claude Code knows that file. He always rereads it when he starts a session to be sure. So he's actually the perfect operator of that whole system because he knows everything. Like he knows really well how the system works. Technically, you should be able to instruct the system 10 times better than any human. So I think it's a powerful setup if it works. We'll keep tinkering and we'll keep testing it out. But that's just something we want to share with everyone because I also feel like this is a topic that is just interesting to a lot of people here that are also listening. Not only because you want to know what we are doing, but also to learn yourself what's out there. What can you do with AI these days? Noble says, I use AI, but really get into this agentic AI story. Got a mean GPU that I barely utilize when I'm coding applying on X. Okay, yeah. I mean, if you have the hardware for it, you can definitely run a lot of shit. The best way to run these things is always on a second machine, either a VPS, which is a remote server in the database, in the data center, or on a second machine like a Mac Mini that you always have on, or a MacBook that you always have on, or whatever you have. The better the hardware, the more you can do with it, because the agents consume RAM. So if you only have, I don't know, like 3 GB of RAM, you're not going to be able to run a lot of agents on there. Maybe 1. Cool. We need to give the NFT, brother. We're far over time for the NFT.
Yes,
Let's move on to the Solid Talk NFT section. The Solid Talk NFT is your weekly collectible that you get for participating in this live stream. And beautiful, it's here almost perfectly aligned on the slide. Actually, I think it's okay. We will tell you how to get it as well. Pierre, are you ready to proceed with the instructions?
Yeah. Actually, there's no slide for this from the... I mean, we still have this slide here.
Yeah, he could probably also make this into the presentation.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Just have to give it to him. So yeah, it's already ready?
Yeah, it's ready.
Awesome. All right, guys. You know what to do if you've been here before. If you haven't been here before, talk.solana.id will bring you to a Zealy Quest board that we use to claim your weekly Solid Talk NFT. You will need a secret code. That secret code is something that Pierre needs to give you. What is it?
Wait a second. I put it here. It is not this one, but Bear.
Nice. Bear. Bear's the secret word, and quest completed. It worked very well for me. Once you submitted your quest, you will find your NFT very soon in your wallet. So all you have to do right now is head over to talk.solana.id and finish the quests. No strings attached. This is literally your artwork for you that is crafted by Sigmund that you will get as a participator of today's Solid Talk. Bears the secret code, talk.solana.id is the domain, and this is the beautiful NFT that you can claim for today's Solid Talk. It's the Solidian hero in his full armor. And yeah, you got it. Now, NFT distributed. We're going to revisit this later before we finish off as well. Quick reminder, comment yourself Solid stays active for the whole live stream. So keep being active in the comment section. It might benefit yourself. Not only it's good to, just vibe with us, but it might also qualify you for the most solid commentator of today's live stream. What haven't we talked about yet here? What else do we got here?
Ooh, I think we talked about mostly everything. There was still the reply guide topic on the agenda that we didn't touch. Do you think it fits, or should we skip it?
We can do that next time. Yeah, we can do that next time when we have a little bit more. When we have a little bit more results that we can show. I think we already have really good results that we can show today, but let's take a minute. Also, just in terms of time, I do want to have a few comments on Solid, the token as well, because a lot of people obviously want to know some news as well when it comes to Solid. And so that's, I think, one topic I want to go into. But yeah, so honestly, when it comes to the reply guy tool, it's just something we're vibe coding in the back, because there's just a problem we identified in the market that no one is really solving really well. I don't think that reply guy is a great job. And I know that we have our reply guy here right now with us. We have maybe other teams that are reply guys. And this is not an attack on reply guys. I don't want to kill their jobs with an automation for this. I don't want to infiltrate Twitter with AI stuff. What I want to do is, what excites me, actually Pierre's doing it, but what excites me is that I don't think it's a perfect usage of your time if you're a reply guy. Because it is something that can be really well done by an agent as well. Because what's the job of a reply guy? If you're a mediocre reply guy, then you're basically just on the timeline and you're just dropping 1-2 word comments on a few posts. That's probably a bad reply guy. If you're a mediocre reply guy, you're just scrolling the timeline every day, you're active, and you're trying to give a little bit of substance to other posts, leave your opinion and so on. That's okay. If you're a very good reply guy, you have a system in place where you have some lists prepared, where you have some accounts that you actually want to reply on. So you kind of know, okay, who's my audience? Who are the people that I want to be seen, right, from, as a personal account or as a Twitter corporate account as comedy. So you have the system in place where okay, those are my people that I want to be in front of. I want them to know me. I want them to see me every day because maybe I want to do business with them. Maybe I want them to follow me. There's a few motivations you can have, right? So that's a pretty good reply guy if you have that system implemented. And if you then also have some wit, right? So if you have a good style of commenting, if you leave thought-provoking comments that get a lot of replies to them because maybe you're controversial, maybe you're saying something everyone hates, maybe you say something everyone loves. That's kind of an art, right? To do that correctly. Or you're maybe just very funny. Also great. You know how to post memes. You know how to say things that are just making people laugh. They like your reply. Whatever reply guy you are, bad or very good, why you have that job is usually because you want exposure to the main account. Let's be blunt. No one is doing replies all day long because they love doing it. Maybe 1% of people, but no one loves to do 40, 50 replies per day. It's a job, right? It's work. So I think you can spend that, if that is your job, I think you can spend that time on strategic things. Maybe you can think about content for the account. Maybe you can think about, okay, I need to define the lists for the outreach and so on. So I think there's just better use of your time, of your brain, of your human brain, than replying to comments on Twitter with the single goal of attention. So that's established. I think that is a problem. And that is why if we have a tool that is almost as good as a human, or maybe even better at doing that job, then that tool could do the same job for a fraction of the costs. It saves money, and it saves a full dedicated person's time schedule to do things that are more impactful than writing comments. Okay, so that's kind of the TLDR on that story, why we're running a little experiment in the background. It helps us to learn vibe coding better, but it also creates a product that is actually really appealing and interesting for everyone, personal accounts or corporate accounts. And I think we're gonna show it to you next week what we have. And let me say, I think it could revolutionize the whole reply guy industry. Honestly, it can disrupt it, and it can revolutionize it. And again, that's the last comment on that topic. We're not trying to replace reply guys to kill their jobs. We're trying to replace reply guys to free up their time to do more meaningful work. That's it. Okay. And I think that is actually the right way to look at AI, period. That's it. Cool. Now, Solid. Yeah, so TLDR on Solid. If we would have a magic ball to make the token, the magic toolbox to make the token go up, I'd do it, right? But unfortunately, that tool doesn't exist. While the liquidity is leaving the market and while Solana is going to $50, and Bitcoin is, some people say, in a bear market, all altcoins are down, all of them. There's a few outliers, maybe 1% that pump here and there a little bit. Can you be such an outlier? Sure. Is it something you can manufacture? Difficult. You need a lot of luck or just a lot of money, so it doesn't make it feasible. Yeah. So pumping tokens right now makes no sense. Do we have the social awareness right now in the market to get more liquidity? Not really. Crypto doesn't have that right now. So the thesis is that we would right now definitely waste capital by doing anything with the token that makes the token go up. Do we want a token? 100%. Does Solid have a reason to exist? 100%. Did we set it up perfectly? That is a question. We launched Solid back end of 2024 with a good intention, with the intention of having a low FTV, high float token out there that launches very early for the community to get a good buy-in price, and with the thesis of, okay, we'll figure out how to get value accrual to the token. Since this year passed now, my stance has changed as a founder, and the industry has also changed. The view on tokens has changed. And right now, let's face the truth, most tokens are meme coins and have no viable path to value accrue. Most tokens have no legal structure in place that actually makes them accrue value or give the holders any legal rights to company equity. Most tokens that did buybacks failed. Most of them, the big majority of them. Most tokens that implemented some sort of dividend share for the revenue also didn't pump from that. Thus, the company is throwing away their operating capital. Companies are losing money. So it's kind of a failing system. I don't want to be part of the failing system. So a big focus for me right now is to figure out how can I make Solid better as an asset. I don't want a token that has one utility inside of your product, and that's it. And that is the use case. I think that will fail. I don't want a token that only has governance rights, and that's it. I think it will fail. I want a token that has actual connection to the operating company, similar to how shares of a company accrue in value when the company performs well. Another truth is, that is not my opinion, it's just the fact, people invest in assets because they want to make money. People don't invest in Tesla because they want to sit at the board and make decisions, most of them. People don't invest in stocks for that reason. They don't want governance rights. They see it as an investment. It's the same with tokens. If you buy Solid, you want value accrual. So my job is to figure out how the fuck do I get value accrual inside that vehicle. TLDR, long story short, I think we're moving into a direction where we will structurally change how Solid is set up. I think we will change into a setup that is potentially closer to what MetaDAO is, or something similar. I don't have to make it a secret that I am actively talking to all these projects out there, including MetaDAO, including Seedplex, including other projects that are smaller and up and coming, like Craft, including Star.Fun. Like basically every token launchpad that is trying to make tokens better is right now a priority to me to talk to. Not only because I want to learn what they think about the market and why they think they have a winning strategy, also because I think there's something there that is actually a great use case. How this could look like? I think if you tokenize, that's a difficult word to use here because you don't want to make your token a security. But if you pseudo tokenize your company, maybe a chunk of it, so you have 100% of the company that has, like, let's say you have 100 shares in the company, that is your equity shares. They go up in price, these shares, when your company has IP and revenue and treasury and brand value, right? And then you take 20%, 20 shares of that 100 shares, and you only tokenize that 20%. And when I say tokenize, I mean there's various ways to do this, but basically you could have an entity that holds these 20% of your whole company, and that entity has only token holders. And these token holders have governance rights as well to that 20% share. They're basically governing the token. They're not governing the whole company. That is, by the way, a difference to MetaDAO. I think MetaDAO is interesting, and I'm definitely investigating and talking to the team. It has some advantages, but it also has a disadvantage, which is that MetaDAO makes your holders control your whole company. If they say liquidate the whole treasury, they vote on it, it passes, it will liquidate the whole treasury. If you don't have any, if you don't have anything in place that could avoid that. As a founder, I don't know if you want that. You can do it. I think it can work. It's an interesting experiment again. There's a direction for us as well that we explore with MetaDAO, but I don't think it is the best way, potentially. So I'm keep exploring. What I said earlier, I think is a much more interesting way, where you tokenize only a part of your company, and the token holders only have governance right on everything that matters for the token, but not for the full company. And you still have 80% shares. That means you still have equity. You can sell equity to investors, and you can sell tokens. You basically have a mini IPO. You only went public with 20% of your company. The rest of the company stays private. You have a live token. You have equity. I think it's a very interesting setup for tokens per se in general. And it's also an interesting setup for Solid. Why do I evaluate this right now? Why do we look at this? Because if I attack, right, if we do our moves now and we push Solana ID forward, I don't want the token to be some dinosaur, or whatever. I don't want it to be some relic from the past based on learnings that are outdated. I want the token to be the best setup it can be, right, to accrue value when the company is successful. Is that the Solid we have today? I don't think so. So whatever we will do, we will 100% honor token holders, right? So we're not gonna sunset Solid. We're not gonna throw away the token. We're not gonna dump on the community. The token is already down, right? We already have more than 85% supply control by now because a lot of people left the boat. And that makes it much easier to find a new setup, because now we don't have to, move over 100% of our old supply to a new model. No, we only have to move over 15% because we can burn all the rest. We control all the rest. So there's definitely a path forward right now for Solid that is very interesting. So, if Solana ID makes sense, if we make the business successful, and if you believe in the team, then I think a new token structure has only benefits. Plus, and that's where I'm going to stop, plus it allows us to raise more capital, because that is the biggest issue you get actually cornered with when you launch a token. Was a lot of early token founders don't realize that as soon as you have a token live, you're limiting your chances for new capital inflow dramatically, because you're public now and you are a slave to your valuation. You don't control your valuation. If your valuation is shit and you need money, nothing you can do. You can't raise money because you can't sell your token, because right now your token is so cheap that if you sell $100,000 worth of your token, you're giving away a shitload of tokens. You don't want to do that for yourself. You don't want to do that for your existing token holders. You can't do it. So OTC deals become difficult. So that's very tough. The chart looks not super attractive once the token is down. So that also doesn't make it easier to raise funds, because you might have a very good operating company. You might have a very good, business that you built. But if the chart is down, everyone's looking at the chart. Do they want to invest if the chart looks bad? Yeah, difficult. Makes it more difficult. So you're very cornered in that setup. But if you have partial equity, partial tokens, you have new ways for raising funds. And even if we would do some sort of new setup, we could pair this with a new ICO to get new people in, and honor the old token holders by giving them their fair share. Let's be blunt about it. One scenario, right? Again, those are just ideas. If we would migrate the token into a new token standard, new token with a new ICO, and we have a dedicated allocation for old holders, and they will just redeem their old Solid for a new Solid, that's it. They only benefit from that, because from all the added attention, the token should perform well. The new token would definitely launch at a higher valuation than the old token. And also, the company will get additional runway by raising funds. So everything is green. As a token holder of a project with a token that is not perfectly designed and down, you don't have a lot of choices. So whatever the team is doing, that's my opinion on the topic. It's going to be interesting to see how other teams are tackling this and so on. But I have my ideas. I'm exploring my ideas. I'm very open for other people's ideas and community opinions on the topic. I know that I'm still talking a little bit in tongue. That is a bit vague, but that's because I don't want to sound like I have a scenario that's already figured out and I'm presenting it to you guys. Once I do, we'll definitely communicate this loud and clear. But until then, all we're going to do is exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm taking you all on our journey of exploring options, right? And we have a conversation about it. We're just going to have a conversation about it. So, is it not required for customers of Solana ID to pay for the service with Solid right now? No. Yeah, Cyber already answered that. No, not really. You can do that, right? But I think the main reason why you didn't want to do it for Solana ID is because it makes the sign-up process much easier if you pay in an asset that everyone has already. So either USDC or Solana. You don't want to token gate such a product with Solid. There's ways where you can do that, but I don't think for Solana ID. We have other ideas for actual utility of the token, but again, those would be supplementary features for the token. The core reason to have a token is that you have investors that can experience value accrual. That's it. Utilities, that pure governance is also that you need value accrual. You need something that's equity-like. You need something that reflects business value. Is your Solid token linked to registered business? I have been looking at registered business, but outlaw by nature, I know. And a DeFi-focused person, so not sure if you even need to. You cannot link your token to registered business so easy. There's ways to do it with these new platforms. With MetaDAO, the token is indirectly linked with the DAO LLC. You can do that, right? But then also that entity is fully controlled by token holders and not you anymore. So everyone who wants a token has participation rights and can decide over your business, even though you're the founder. So it gives away total control, which is the way to do it, right? It's okay. It's an experiment. It has definitely reason to exist. But Solid as it is today it has no link to an operating business because you can't. Then it's a equity. Then it's a security. Yeah. We don't want to look like we gave up on our token and then go right ahead to launch a new token. Yeah, that's not the story. That's not the story at all. If you build what's a good analogy here? Let's say you build a village, right? And when you built that village, everything looked good, right? You had a good foundation. You had nice area with, the trees are there, the stones are there, you can flourish. You have place for your farmers. Everyone comes to the village and is happy, right? And they came to the village because you told them this is a prosperous earth piece here, and it's the best place to live. So they trusted you. They come to live on that village. Then you discover that when you made the decision to populate that piece of land, you forgot that there was quicksand below the village. So if you keep building on that spot, everyone is going to drown in quicksand and die. So now you can basically, as the mayor of that city, be like, okay, but I told them this is the perfect place to build. So maybe I should just forget about the quicksand and make it work and try some tooling and some experiments to make the quicksand not be an issue. And we'll figure it out, and it's going to be okay. And we're going to just keep building on that same spot, and we're going to keep flourishing. It's going to be good until it isn't. At some point, they're all going to die. You could also make the more difficult choice as founder, as mayor of the village, and say, okay, guys, I'm sorry, we have to come together here in our little community hall. And I have to admit that we built here based on data that is outdated. And actually, it's not the best place to build. And we have significant issues here. And I think the city is going to flourish. You guys, you are great people, and you are so productive. And I want this community to thrive, but we can't thrive here, guys. So we need to resettle. We need to resettle into a new village, into a new place where there's already a few people there. Okay, there's already some people there. We will just merge with them. And we have the perfect place to build a fucking empire on that piece of land. because there it is fully safe. And then all your people have to take their shit and pack up their stuff, and it's a bit of pain, right? And you burn down that village where you initially were because it's lost anyway. And you go to the new place where you have dedicated slots for your old people from that village, prime locations where they can now settle themselves in. And then you give them a new home, you settle there, you basically revised, you made a mistake in the past, you admitted the mistake, and you made sure that everyone knows, you're transparent about it. And now you're not talking about the mistake anymore. You're not talking, that is like you mentioned this once, you talk about the future. You talk about now we have the perfect place, we have a new community here, we have people that are already here, we're going to merge with them, we have a nice foundation where we can build on, and here's where we build our castle, here's where we're going to flourish, here's where everyone is going to be rich. And everyone's happy end. So that's, the idea is not, that is actually right. ETH is definitely quicksand, Hector. So we will not jump to ETH. That is, if that's the conclusion you get from this, Yannis, you're wrong. What I'm saying is, the narrative is very different. I want us to be primed for success as a protocol. I want Solana ID to be primed for success. I want token holders to be primed for success. I don't want us to suffer from past mistakes that are gonna make the future even harder once we grow even more aggressive, right? So that's the whole idea. So I think there's a place for these new form of tokens that are rising right now. I think there's a place for them. I think they might win in the long run when they're structured well. And don't forget that one crucial piece of why the strategy is so interesting is that it also allows the company to recapitalize again, right? So to bring fresh liquidity in. Because at some point, you're going to run out of options. Depending on how long the bear market lasts, you're going to run out of options. Like you can, at some point, when the quicksand is almost eating your houses, you basically only have the option left to, okay, pack my shit really quick now and go somewhere else or die. I don't want to even get to that moment. So before we get there, I want us to just do some preventive mechanisms and think about how can we make sure that this doesn't happen and position ourselves strong for the future. So that is the twist, right? It's the narrative in the story it's very different than than giving up on the token and just launch a new one. It's a different narrative. It's growing the community, entering a new phase of Solana. The fresh phase, a new phase, a new slight pivot in the business, a new company structure, a new token, from all the past learnings to be primed for success. That's what we do. Again, those are thoughts, right? Nothing is finalized yet, but I'm happy we have that conversation here. When I say conversation, I'm happy I'm yapping about it because obviously it's all depends as well on what people say. Yannis is drinking Uzo. Let's go. Why not, brother? Enjoy. It's getting late here in Eastern Europe. Cool. Okay, let's wrap it up. Let's call it a day with this. Because we covered some ground today. Not only gave we away the Solid Talk NFT as we do, no, we also obviously made sure that we gave you the chance to comment yourself solid. So make sure to stay here until we wrap up officially because we're going to announce who commented him or herself solid. And if you haven't done it yet, Talk.Solana.id is where you get your custom Solana ID NFT where you can submit the request and we will send you the NFT to your wallet. So just go to Talk.Solana.id. If you don't have the secret code yet, it's BEAR. You need the secret code BEAR and your pub key, and that's it to claim that NFT. Now, when it comes to comment yourself solid, Pierre, I think we have to choose a winner. We can, as a second filter, we can try to not choose the same people all the time because obviously there's a pattern of people who are active. That's just naturally. And it's okay to have people win twice. But I just want to say that the weight of chance to win is a bit higher for people that never won. So let's do a quick scan of the comment section here, see who texted what, come up with the name, and then we count down, Pierre, and decide who wins. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there's a few candidates.
Yeah, it's actually not so easy.
Today's not so easy. We're probably going to have different names. No jokes, One ID for me was the start to my journey. Well, that's great, bro. I'm happy to do that. And it's good that you chose a project that actually just sticks around, I guess. It gives some sort of, how do you say, consistency. Okay, who are we going to pick here? I don't know. Okay. I mean, I think I can name one. But it's so Noble definitely. Noble is very active. I appreciate that.
Yeah, he won last time, I think, right?
Today we're gonna pick someone else. Noble, you have chance again next time. For today we're gonna pick someone else.
It's very close. Okay, my next best would be Maki.
Wait. Oh, okay. So okay, we didn't do the countdown, but okay. Yeah, I also had Maki. I would have said Maki, but I would have counted down. You can trust me. So Maki, I think you commented yourself solid, my friend. At these prices, it's not a big wealth that we're giving you, but we can up the amount a little bit, the reward. But yeah, Janis also says Maki. All right, let's crown Maki as today's king of comments, and you will be the winner for today's giveaway. So please make a mental note, Pierre, Cyber, whoever is helping us to track this. Maki, we need your pub key so we can distribute your win. And congrats, Maki, for commenting yourself solid by just being active in the comment section. Thank you so much. I also had Hector. I was looking at Hector as well. So I appreciate you guys to be active. It was a close race today, but there can be only one winner for the comment yourself solid giveaway. Next week is another chance. So Maki, we need your puppy. GG, good job, and thanks for playing. Everyone else who's in here, thank you guys for tuning in to yet another Solid Talk. I think we ran like 2 hours or something because lots of yapping today, but that's good. That's why we're here. Thanks for vibing with us. Thanks for staying with us. Don't be too depressed with the markets. It doesn't really matter anyways. I hope you're okay. I hope you're safe. I hope you're not, losing your existence. That obviously sucks, but there's light at the end of the tunnel. I think that's one of the TLDR of today's market and price section. I can't promise that the low is in. I think we might be going lower, but there's a chance we're getting closer. We're much closer to the end of the market downturn than the beginning of it. Okay, that's where I have certainty on. We're closer to the end than to the beginning of the downturn. How close we're to the end, I don't know. No one knows, but we'll see this year. With that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in to Solid Talk today. I wish you a very good day. If you are up there overseas, then enjoy your Saturday. If you're in Europe or even in Asia, then enjoy your afternoon or evening. Have a good night. See you next week, same space, same time. Solid Talk number 76. Stay safe, stay solid, or get solid. See you at the next one. Peace out.